Hello everybody. I would like to thank CrowdStrike for inviting me to the 2021 forum and give me the opportunity to share general finance experience with Falcon Complete. My name is Graziano Callegaro. I am a system administrator and a Prince2 project manager. I've been in general finance for 6 years and for 15 years in IT operation at various levels. My area of expertise are networking, firewall, hypervisor, backup systems, Microsoft services in general, and ITIL. General Finance is in the market since 1982 and is specialized in business financing. We are an Italian market leader operator in factoring sector. Our main services are financing, deep financing, and pre-crisis financing. Our success factor are speed of action and tailor-made services. Our main product are credit management, financing services, and credit insurance. In 2020, our turnover was 760 million, and in 2021, it's expected to be higher. General Finance IT number are 2 Tier 4 data center, the first one in Milan and the second one in Rome, 70 client and 60 server, mainly Windows, 1 headquarter in Milan, 1 operation office in Biella, and 3 people for IT system administration. We were Symantec customers. Our endpoint protection product was Symantec Endpoint Protection, which was a signature-based cloud-managed antivirus. In August 2020, our license were close to expiration, and we started to analyze the market looking for alternatives. The first reason was the lack of support and the high number of malfunction after the acquisition of Symantec by Broadcom, and also a large number of false positives, which caused a great waste of time. The second reason was that we didn't have a clear vision of the evolution of our antivirus product. The last reason was COVID-19 scenario, with our endpoint working from home in unprotected networks. This project has many objectives. We must have an increase in our overall level of endpoint security. We wanted to have an endpoint environment monitored 24/7, 365. We wanted to have an antivirus and an IDR system. We are looking for a product that generates less false positive compared to our old antivirus system. We wanted lightweight agents that do not require frequent reboot when updated. And we want that our true positive detection were analyzed by security experts. We should also like to have a way to manage our endpoint firewall from a central location, a software and hardware inventory, endpoint USB managed from a central location, and detailed reporting periodically analyzed with security experts. We analyzed solutions by SentinelOne, Sophos, and Fortinet. But even where there was a 24/7 security operating center, we weren't able to have a clear understanding of what happened after a true positive detection and what would have been the escalation procedure applied in this case, and also what would have been the response time. After the screening, our choice was for Falcon Complete. These are the reasons of that choice. In our team, we don't have security expert, and thanks to Falcon Complete, we can have detection and response 24/7, 365 by a security operating center. Even if we don't manage the endpoint security directly, thanks to the security posture and escalation workflow, we can have a clear understanding of what happened to our endpoint after a true positive detection. We experience a great support and communication at all levels, from the first contact in the website chat, after with our account, and also in the test phase with pre-sales engineer. There is a detailed incident reporting. CrowdStrike sensor is easy to deploy, and of course, industry recognition. This was the project timeline, which started in September 2020, when we activated the trial license and we did the first setup of the portal. After 1 month and a half of test phase in mid-October, we started the sensor deployment in production. 15 days after, in the beginning of November, the stabilization period is started. In this period, Falcon Complete team review detection, but they still not manage endpoint security yet. In mid-November, we did the handover of our security to Complete team, and in mid-December, we uninstalled our legacy antivirus product. In January 2021, we received our first monthly metric report, and in the beginning of February, we discussed with the Falcon Complete team our first quarterly review. In May, we discussed the second, and so on. To test CrowdStrike sensor, we created a trial account and configured the cloud portal with the help of Precise Engineer. Then we configured two separated test environments, one supplied by CrowdStrike with 5 virtual machines in an isolated public cloud, and the other one on an isolated segment on a General Finance network. We tested then the coexistence of the sensor with our software, included the legacy antivirus, and in the end we tested both the environment with different kinds of malwares. These are the steps to go live with the service. First of all, we deployed the sensor on all our endpoints. Then we defined criteria to group them. After this, we created policy to define rules for managed endpoints. Then we defined security posture and what posture apply for every endpoint. And in the end, we uninstalled Symantec Agent. Let's go to see these steps in detail. To deploy the sensor on our endpoint, we used a PowerShell script executed by a Windows group policy. We were able to do all the sensor deployment without any manual activity on the endpoint. It's very important to notice that CrowdStrike sensor can coexist with Symantec Endpoint Agent with quarantine disabled. Thanks to this, endpoint remain protected during all the migration. When the sensor is installed, the endpoint is presented to the portal. In this phase, policy aren't applied, and very important for server, reboot is not needed. Sensor is quite lightweight, 6 MB on Windows client and 76 MB on Windows Server. Portal offers two ways to group endpoints, static group and dynamic groups. We mainly used dynamic grouping. In this kind of grouping mode, endpoints are added to the group based on a predefined criteria. To group endpoint, we used operating system type and operating system version. It's possible to group endpoints thanks to a tag that you specify in the installation script, or to group endpoint based on a Windows Active Directory organizational unit membership. There is also the possibility to use static groups. In these groups, members must be manually added by administrators. Policies are used to define settings to manage endpoint or sensor, and they are applied in consequence of a group membership. For example, we use policy to define strategy to update the sensor version before on a pilot host groups and then to all the other endpoints. With policy, it's possible to manage USB ports on all Windows client or apply Windows firewall rule from the cloud portal. The last step of the portal configuration is to define security posture. Posture are identified by detailed workflow to contain or eliminate threat as fast as possible. These workflows are invoked after detection is raised. Thanks to security posture, Falcon Complete team know in advance what they can do and what is the exact escalation type for a specific endpoint. Like policy, posture are applied in consequence of group membership. We choose to use two kinds of security posture, active and cautious posture. The active posture preserves the business continuity, so endpoint where this posture is applied can be network contained or rebooted. The cautious posture preserves service continuity. So every decision regarding endpoint where this policy is applied needs to be escalated to a general finance representative. Thanks to the configuration we did before, we completely automated the endpoint security management. This workflow shows what happened to an endpoint from its first configuration to when it is managed by Falcon Complete team. When a client is joined to our Active Directory domain, a Windows group policy is applied and the sensor is automatically installed. When the sensor is installed, the endpoint is presented to the CrowdStrike portal. Once it's presented, thanks to the criteria we defined in advance, is dynamically grouped. In consequence of group membership, policy and security postures are applied. In this way, the endpoint is managed by Complete team without any action by General Finance IT team. Even if the detection and response is managed by Falcon Complete team, every time there is a detection in our endpoint environment, we receive an email notification like this. This email contains information about infected client, details about analysis and remediation procedure, and also recommended recovery task. Is it possible to customize notification workflow? For example, we decided to notify certain type of detection only to specific groups of users. Every email notification contains the full detection link. If we click on that link, we are redirected to the CrowdStrike portal to the Falcon Inside module. Here, it's possible to have all the information regarding the detection. If the detection has been managed by the Falcon Complete team representative, who is the user who generated the detection, which is the infected file name, see the full process tree and detailed event data, the severity of the detection, and so on. Is it also possible to leave a message to the Complete team regarding the detection? As I said in the timeline slide, every 3 months we had a meeting with a Falcon Complete team representative where we go through the following point. What's new in the portal? Because there are always new feature releases that are included in our subscription. Review of all the detection. Maybe a detection it was categorized true positive and we think that is not. Or maybe we like it to have more information regarding a particular detection on a server. Account at risk. For example, if for some reason there are accounts with an unchanged password for a long time. Potentially unwanted non-malicious software. If in your environment you use Microsoft OneDrive as a file storage service and on a particular endpoint is installed Dropbox. USB activity by host and user. We have evidence if a user on a particular host copy a large number of files on a USB pen drive. List of unsupported assets because the sensor scans your network to search for unmanaged endpoint and other assets connected. Review of escalation contact list and priority because maybe something has changed from the last time. This report contains also URL to portal section where these information are represented in dashboards. A module activated with our subscription is USB device control. Thanks to USB device control, we can manage what kind of hardware is permitted on our endpoints USBs. For example, we can allow a certain kind of printer but not mass storage. Is it also possible to manage what kind of files are permitted? We decided to block all executable files on a USB pen drive. Even in this case, policy for managed USB devices are applied based on group membership. As you can see in the picture, all the information collected are represented in browsable dashboards. In this dashboard, we can find information about type of hardware connected to our endpoints USBs, file eventually copied on pen drives, by what user and when. Another very useful module in the portal is Falcon Discover. Thanks to this module, we can have information dynamically updated about all our asset inventory, all our application inventory, application usage by host and user, account monitoring, failed login attempt, and many other useful information. Like for device control, all these information are organized in browsable dashboards. Data contained in these dashboards are exportable in spreadsheets. In conclusion, from the Falcon Complete solution, we realized all the project goals. We gained 24/7 threat management by the security expert of the Falcon Complete team, many information about what happened in our network environment and on our endpoints, training thanks to the access to the CrowdStrike Academy, and support by the complete team in a dedicated session inside the portal. Thank you for your attention. I hope our experience will be useful to understand if Falcon Complete is the right product for your environment. If you have any question, please leave it in the chat and I will answer right now.